everyone, Emily here, and today I have for you a book haul, and this is going to be kind of big. So I don't think I've done a book haul. I don't think I did a book haul last month, and I have gone a little overboard with book of the month. They have started doing more romantasy, which is what I like, and so I went a little crazy, and also, there was a used book sale in my town. So there's an organization that supports adult literacy programs, and they have a book sale twice a year. And this was their fall book sale, and I go to their like the preview night where you pay a $10 entrance fee, and then but like paperbacks are 50 cents, hardbacks are $2. Like that is like you can't beat that price. And I've found in the past I've found some really good finds. Like last year I found the complete Malazan series by Stephen Erickson. If you're a fantasy lover, you know what that is. So I snatched that up. I found Game of Thrones in like mint condition, Broken Earth trilogy in mint condition. So like some, like I said, really good finds. And I found some good finds, but it wasn't the best haul. But I think I did pretty well. So let's get down to it. So first, I'm going to be all over the place, okay? So first, I found some books in the Cat Who series, and I've read the first three. I have some more that I need to read, but I found The Cat Who Went Bananas, The Cat Who Dropped a Bombshell, The Cat Who Had 60 Whiskers, and The Cat Who Went Up the Creek. So those were four books that I found at that used book sale. Also, I should add too, I am coming to you from a different location. This is actually a section of my spare bedroom / office. The reason why I'm filming here is a lot of these books are more young adult, and then like the cozy mysteries, which are where I where I keep my young adult and cozy mysteries, and also where I moved some my book of the month books up here as well. So that's why I'm filming in a different location this time, and so we'll see how things work here as opposed to filming from my living room couch. So we'll see. Then I also found by Victoria Schwab This Savage Song and This Dark or Our Dark Duet. So this is a duology. It's a young adult duology. And so this is about Kate Harker, who wants to be as ruthless as her father. After 5 years in 6 boarding schools, she's finally going home to prove that she can be. August Flynn wants to be human, but he isn't. He's a monster, one that can steal souls with a song. He's one of the 3 most powerful monsters in a city overrun with them. His own father's secret weapon. Their city is divided, their city is crumbling. Kate and August are the only 2 who can see both sides, and only 2 who could do something. But how do you decide to be a hero or a villain? It's hard to tell which is which. I've heard good things about this duology, I'm pretty sure. Here's also just like a find, and like, so this is hardback, and they look really in good condition. And then when I opened up this first book, it's signed. And then there's also this letter. I'm sure this letter is printed. It's not handwritten, but that's in there. So I thought that was interesting that I found that, again, for $2. You can't beat that price. I also found The Line Women of Tehran by Marjan Kamali. And this one is set in 1950s Tehran. 7-year-old Ellie lives in grand comfort until the untimely death of her father, forcing her and her mother to move to a tiny home downtown. Lonely and bearing the brunt of her mother's endless grievances, Ellie dreams of having a friend to alleviate her isolation. Luckily, on the first day of school, she meets Homa, a kind, passionate girl with a brave and irresistible spirit. Together, the two girls play games, learn to cook in the stone kitchen of Homa's warm home, wander through the colorful stalls of the Grand Bazaar, and share their ambitions for becoming lion women. But their happiness is disrupted when Ellie and her mother are afforded the opportunity to return to their previous bourgeois life. As Ellie enjoys her new popularity at the best girls' high school in Iran, her memories of Homa begin to fade. Years later, however, Homa's sudden appearance in Ellie's privileged world alters the course of both their lives. I've heard really good things about this book, and so that's what had me intrigued. I don't read a whole ton of historical fiction anymore, but like I said, I've heard really good things, so it's something that I'm like, yes, I would be willing to read that, especially since it deals with an area of the world that I don't read too much about. So just would like to diversify my reading there. And then I was so excited to find this for $5. And again, this is the used book sale, but this is a newer release, so that's why it was priced higher. And that is Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. I really enjoyed Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. And so I'm looking forward to reading the sequel. It's really kind of hard to explain this because, again, this is a sequel. But it's about Ernest Cunningham. He is a writer, and he actually writes books on how to write mystery novels and like guidebooks for that. And so the first book, sorry, my neighbors are really loud, so I apologize if it's just their dog. There's pounding and then the dog is barking, so if you hear that, I apologize. I live in a townhome. It was built in like the 1970s. The walls are not the best. And like they're really pounding. Like I'm feeling it as I'm sitting here. But what was I gonna say? So there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor, and the fourth wall is removed, which I enjoyed. I actually wanted more snark from the first book, so I'm hoping this brings the snark. And in this book, we're now in Australia, and he's on a train attending like an Australian mystery writers society festival, and I guess there's a murder on the train. So there's that. Then I found this for 50 cents. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it because I have the complete series. I have not read the complete series yet. I'm hoping to read the first book either this month or next month. But when I found this book for 50 cents, I said, I must purchase. So I don't know if I'll keep this book. I don't know if I'll post this in my Pingo shop. I don't know what I'll do with this book yet. But I couldn't resist picking it up because I know I got Air of Fire and like the original cover. And I know that these sell well on Pango Books. So I picked it because of that, but I'm like, oh, maybe I should keep it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this book. But for 50 cents, I could not pass it. So there you go. I'm not going to read the back of the book. I can't because I am not there yet in the series. So then at the used book sale, I found Nevernight by Jay Kristoff and God's Grave by Jay Kristoff. These are the first two books in a trilogy, but like they're in really good condition, like almost new condition. And this is a woman who gains entry to a school of infamous assassins seeking vengeance against the powers that destroyed her family. She's the daughter of an executed traitor, and so Mia barely just escaped her father's failed rebellion with her own life. So she's alone, she's friendless, and she is trying to get vengeance, I guess. And she is an apprentice to the Red Church. So, yeah, I am excited. So we shall see how that goes. Then I also found The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. It sounded cute. It was in the section of about to become a movie or like TV section. And this is about Lucy and Joshua, and they work together at a publishing company. And I guess they're both up for the same promotion, and it's like an enemies to lovers. I believe I love enemies to lovers, and it was a publishing company, so I said, yes, let's do that. And then I've really been enjoying, so last month I read Garlic and the Vampire, which is my first ever graphic novel. And then this month, actually this morning, I finished reading Mexicid, which is a graphic memoir. And I am beginning to enjoy graphic novels. I used to not read them too much, only because I didn't know where to focus. But when I saw this, I decided to pick it up. And this is The Complete Persepolis. And again, this was 50 cents, so you can't beat that. I know there's this big old used sticker on it, which drives me bonkers. But this apparently was a textbook. I live on a college town, and this clearly, like, there's this white sticker is the university bookstore and at the student center, and then this is another used bookstore in town as well. So this is clearly a textbook for some college class. But this is a memoir of Marjane. I'm not going to pronounce her last name correctly. Satrapi. This is her coming of age story, growing up in Tehran during the Islamic Revolution, and then she moves to Vienna during her high school years, and then she comes home to Tehran. So, and then obviously there was a movie based on this as well. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And then I've heard good things about this book. So I picked up The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, which is a children's book by Charlie Mackary, I believe, or Mackesy. I can't tell if that's an R or an S. I'm not gonna lie, because the script is really fancy, which I'm kind of like. It was put in the children's book section, which it might be, but I mean, you're going to need an adult to read this book if this is as a children's book, because the script is so fancy. It's almost, I don't know. It's in beautiful condition. I've heard good things, so I want to read it. Then I found Cold Fire by Tamora Pierce. I love Tamora Pierce, so I need to read. I haven't read any of the Circle of Magic books. So there's like an original quartet with the Circle of Magic, and then the Circle of Magic opens. So there's a second quartet books. So this is book 2, I believe, in that second series. So I need to start collecting those books. But the problem is that they're out of print. So I'm going to have to do some digging and finding to get those books. Then I also found by Emily J. Taylor, Hotel Magnifique. Come on, look at that cover. It's just gorgeous. If I remember correctly, I've heard kind of mixed things about this series. Again, this book. This is YA, but it's about like a magical hotel, I think. And I guess it travels the world and it arrives at a new destination each midnight. So 2 teenagers, like sisters, join the hotel staff. So we'll see how that is. Sorry, I have my phone on a stand on a table, so that's where I'm putting all the books that I've showed you on this table. So, okay. Then I found My Plain Jane and My Calamity Jane at the used book sale. And so these are kind of like retellings. This is Jane Eyre. This is obviously Calamity Jane. The one disappointment that I have to say that of this book sale this go around is that they had a lot of like library books, like library discards from the high schools in town. So that was kind of disappointing. But I mean, they're still in relatively good condition. I've heard good things about this book, and I need to read it so that way I can then watch the Amazon series. And I do like Jane Eyre a lot. I know there's a lot of people that don't. I am one of those who did like it. for a variety of reasons. I think it's the reason why I like it is because there's a lot of good discussion points with it. But I do understand that so this is kind of like a retelling, and also like Charlotte Bronte is a character in this book, so that'll be interesting. And then before I go into my I just lost my train of thought. Book of the month books. I did go to Barnes and Noble, so I had to get 12 Angry Men. So I'm teaching that, and so I had originally purchased it, and then they had like tables of like stacks of books that were 30% off. So I looked there, and I bought. I thought I didn't have it. I bought no. Did I buy Mansfield Park? I bought the Brothers Karamazov for 30% off. I did already have it. I had like a Dover publication, but I got this in the Penguin like black line. So that's why I'm not showing it. But I also found a book for 30% off that I was wanting to read, and that is Homecoming by Kate Morton. And I really like The Clockmaker's Daughter. I think she's going to be an author that I really enjoy. I have The Forgotten Garden and Riverton and a couple other books by her. Have I read them yet? No. But have I gotten them? Yes. But this is a dual timeline. So let me read this. At the end of a scorching hot day beside a creek on the grounds of a grand country house, a local man makes a terrible discovery. Police are called, and the small town of Tambilla becomes embroiled in one of the most baffling murder investigations in the history of South Australia. Many years and thousands of miles away, Jess is a journalist in search of a story. Having lived and worked in London for nearly 2 decades, she now finds herself unemployed and struggling to make ends meet. A phone call summons her back to Sydney, where her beloved grandmother Nora, who raised Jess when her mother could not, has suffered a fall and is seriously ill in the hospital. At Nora's house, Jess discovers a true crime book chronicling a long-buried police case, the Turner family tragedy of 1959. It is only when Jess skims through its pages that she finds a shocking connection between her own family and this notorious event, a mystery that has never been satisfactorily resolved. It sounds interesting. Look how pretty that cover is. It's like shimmery. I love it. So, looking forward to reading that. Okay, now book of the month. So we're going to just go. I'm trying to remember what was this month's pick. Oh, I remember. Okay, so last month I picked The Wild Huntress by Emily Lloyd Jones, and this is a YA book. And it's 2 kingdoms. Every 5 years, 2 kingdoms take part in a wild hunt. So joining is a bloody risk, and even the best hunters can suffer the most gruesome fates. Kind of reminds me of Hunger Games. And still hundreds gamble their lives to participate, all vying for the hunt's life-changing prize, a magical wish granted by the other king. So it's about a trickster, a prince, and a wild huntress who band together. So if they band together against the monstrous creatures within the woods, they have a chance to win. Sounded intriguing. I also picked up last month a song to Drown Rivers by Anne Liang. And this is inspired by the legend of Shishi, one of the most famous 4 beauties of ancient China. So it looks intriguing. I don't know if this is a standalone or if it's a first in a series. Here's going to be my issue. I'm not going to lie. So I like the fact that Book of the Month is doing more romantasy. And like they still have thrillers. I am not a big thriller reader. So I'm happy. Like, I know some people are not happy with the fact that it's turning more romantasy, but romantasy is also really popular and it is really selling among the general, like among bookish circles. So I'm glad that they're having options for more readers because, again, I am not a big thriller reader. So looking forward to trying that out. I also picked up last month um, Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I'm part of a virtual book club, and they had read one of her earlier works, and they said, "Oh, she's really good." I've never read anything by her, and I actually got this for my brother for Christmas last year, and because he had started reading it at the library and it was due, but he also wanted to really read it, so I picked this up for him, and then I got myself a copy. But this is like Mayan gods set during the Jazz Age, which how incredibly inventive is that? So I'm looking forward to trying her out. And then this month, for my main pick, I got The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. And this is like a cozy fantasy about Tao, who is an immigrant fortune teller traveling between villagers, and she only tells small fortunes. So, like, not things that are like life or death, but like, is it going to hail? Or who will this person kiss? So, and then it sounds like there's going to be like a found family as she travels. So, looking forward to trying that. And then I also, this month I went really crazy. I picked up 4 books from Book of the Month. I also got Bloodguard because they have sprayed edges on it. I am so glad that Book of the Month is finally beginning to do sprayed edges because I'll buy books at through Book of the Month because it's cheap, right? Like this was actually $1 more, so or $2 more. So this was like $12.99. And like I got 5 Broken Blades a couple months ago, or when it came out, and then I was so sad because when I went to Barnes and Noble, that edition has just beautiful sprayed edges, and I was like, oh. So I'm glad that they're getting on the sprayed edges train. And then it also has that. Oh, it's the same. I guess it's the same front and back. So they're getting up there. I like the fact that they're beginning to do this. But this is also a romantasy. I don't know if it's probably the first in the series, which I just want romantasies that are not in a series. Like it would be nice if they were just standalones too. Because I can't read everything. It's going to be interesting. But this, from what I understand, is like romantasy, but like in gladiator times. And so, like, he's a gladiator who has been sold into that, I think. And then she is an elven royal. And everything that he should hate as he's trying to get revenge. So, we shall see how that goes. And then I also got, this is a beautiful cover. Like, look at that. So beautiful. The Road of Bones by Demi Winters. And this for sure is the first in a series. And this is Viking inspired, which I really like Viking stuff. So I'm excited about that. So it's a woman fleeing a ruthless assassin accidentally joins forces with a group of mercenaries and must use all her cunning to escape with her life and her heart intact. Looking forward to trying that. And then last but not least, like I have been highly anticipating this since I read the first one. And of course they do it as an add-on, so then you have to buy the main pick. I got Where the Library Hides. Sorry, I've been calling it Where the Library Ends. It's Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. And so this is the second book in the YA duology. And It follows Inez Olivara, and she is going to Egypt after her parents are killed. And so she's like, her parents were um, like archaeologists, and they were in Egypt, and very much this is the early 1800s, so very much themes of colonization and just the grave robbing that occurred in Egypt is very present in the first book. There is a magic system. I didn't think it was very developed in the first one, but I thought it was a good read. And so I'm looking forward to reading this. I read all of, you can see I have a bookmark in here. I've read all of 2 pages because I've been reading other things this month, but this is on my TBR for either this month or next month. And I don't know how many books that is. I will give a count later. I am waiting for another book. I found out I was part of a giveaway. So Kat over at Kat's Novels Adventures, she did a giveaway during her live sprints this week because it was her anniversary on BookTube, and I won. So that's super exciting. So I will be getting the ABC Murders by Agatha Christie in the mail shortly. So thank you so much, Kat, for that. And if you have not checked her out, go check her out. She is very delightful and kind and wonderful. So go check out her channel. And as always, thank you for watching. Have you read any of these books? Anything that you think I need to prioritize? And as always, happy reading. Bye.